Really quick, if you haven't seen my most recent episode on Myra the Magnificent, make sure you check this one out because this brand new legal commander has me saying, oh no, Wizards. Yeah, they did it. Yes, they did. But don't go check that episode out just yet because this might be the weirdest card of all time because this is a Planeswalker? So to find out what I'm talking about, well, let's jump into it. So let's just say, okay, first when I saw Comet Stellar Pup, I read the card top to bottom, or at least I should say, I looked at the top first. I saw, the picture. It's a dog in space. And I looked at the name. Okay, that's clever. And then I looked to the bottom, and where I expected to see an acorn, there isn't an acorn. There's an oval. There's an oval, not an acorn. And what we have learned from that essentially is for this set, this is an eternal legal card. That means that this Planeswalker, Comet the Space Dog, is a legal card in, Legacy, which is kind of funny, but not funny, but also Commander, which is just crazy. And I guess I say, the reason I find it funny to be in Legacy, legal is like, okay, one opponent, casts Ancestor Recall, which actually might be Vanilla Legacy. I've got no idea. Anyways, one opponent does that, and the other one's like, okay, I'll play Comet Stellar Pup. And it just seems like a weird dichotomy, especially in Legacy. But yeah, even in Commander, this is one of the strangest things of all time. Regardless, since this is a legal card in Commander, you very well might see it in a game. So let's go over it. And it is a very, very strange and very, very unique Planeswalker to say the least. Comet starts off at 5 starting loyalty and costs 2 red, white. It only has one ability, kind of. Regardless, it is 0. Roll a 6-sided die. If you roll a 1 or 2, Comet's going to get +2 loyalty. Then you create 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. They gain haste until end of turn. So that's kind of funny, squirrels, dogs are always like, squirrel! And they'll chase after squirrels, of course. So yeah, you get 2 squirrels. They're hasty. They can, swing right away. If you roll a 3, you get a -1 for Comet, so it goes down in loyalty. Then you return a card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So Comet kind of like, digs up a bone in the yard, kind of, or, fetches, etc., 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 dog references. If you roll a 4 or 5, Comet Stellar Pup apparently deals damage equal to the number of loyalty counters on him to a creature or player. Then it gets -2 for loyalty. So I guess Comet got a little too playful and maybe ran into someone. I'm not going to say Comet bit anyone, okay? Dogs are too awesome. He did not. So yeah, Comet got a little clumsy while running around and ran into someone. Anyways, if you rolled a 6 though, Comet gets +1 loyalty. And you may activate Comet Stellar Pup's loyalty ability 2 more times this turn. So, like I said before, this Planeswalker is basically unlike anything we've ever seen before. Of course, we've never seen a Space Dog Planeswalker, so that's one thing. The second is, you don't know what ability you are getting. You have no idea what is going to happen when you pay that, 0 loyalty and you roll a 6-sided die. And because of that, Comet can definitely be, a fun, Planeswalker in, a Super Friends deck. You just randomly get whatever happens. You might get some tokens. You might, get something small back. Hopefully you got something small in your graveyard, or that's just a waste. You could, deal some damage to something, get a creature player, take something out. Or again, you could just do it again. And speaking of doing it again, though, I could be wrong, but I don't believe there are any other Planeswalkers that really do anything like that. Please correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong on that. But because of that potential to roll a 6 and be able to activate 2 more times, there is the potential to go infinite with this. Now, is that likely? No, unless you have some help. So, of course, first up, I'm going to bring up some cards like Barbarian Class, Wild, and Pixie Guide, each of which help with your dice rolls. Barbarian Class says if you roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll. And then Wild says the exact same thing, and so does Pixie Guide. But yeah, if you have any of these in play, essentially, you are more likely to roll a higher number because you're rolling 2, ignoring the lowest. So instead of just having a 1 out of 6 chance of rolling at least 1 6, you have, a 2 out of 6 chance. At least I'm sure that's how the math checks out. Anyways, statisticians, let me know in the comments below. Regardless, yeah, if we have more of these effects in play, we are more likely to hit that 6, and when we do again, we get 2 activations, so then we get 2 more chances again to, 2 more doubled up chances to then roll a 6 again. So the more and more times that we hit 6s, the more and more chances we have to keep hitting 6s, and, those are doubled up every time with these. Of course, there are other benefits from, rolling dice. Again, Barbarian Class's level 2 says whenever you roll 1 or more dice, target creature you control gets +2/+0 against menace on turn. That's nice, but our goal, again, is to go infinite. And then Wild has, whenever you roll 1 or more dice, put a +1 counter on Wild. Cool. If we go infinite, Wild is also infinitely large. Great. And, if we have Barbarian Class in play too, we can give it Menace and, maybe hit someone for an infinite amount. But that's actually not all that needed. Because again, remember that, our Planeswalker dog also has, that 4 or 5 where it deals damage equal to the number of loyalty counters on it to a creature or a player. So, of course, we can take out all of our opponents when we just happen to hit those numbers. So, yeah, technically by going infinite with this stellar pup, just by, being able to activate this many times as we want, we are bound to take out all of our opponents. And also, I guess make an infinite army of squirrels potentially too, which is just hilarious. Now, those cards like Barbarian Class, there's only so many of them actually, so we're going to need some help as well. So let's talk about some cards like Estrid's Invocation, Replication Technique, and Cologne. Estrid's Invocation is an enchantment that can become a copy of an enchantment. So essentially, hey, have it come into play as a copy of Barbarian Class. Then, if we just have, that plus this plus our commander in play, cool. Every single time we roll that dice, we basically get to roll 3, and we're canceling out the lowest roll. So yeah, the more and more ways we have to, copy those permanents that allow us to roll more dice and get the highest roll, the better. So yeah, Replication Technique is an incredible one. Demonstrate, create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control. So an extra copy of Barbarian Class is lovely, and 2 copies is even better. Obviously, you could also, make a copy of Pixie Guide. Don't copy Wild, though, because Wild is legendary. Though, obviously, if you copy with something like Spark Double or something like that, or, Irenicus's Vial Duplication, that would be fine. And of course, even with, Pixie Guide, a simple clone or any clone will basically do the job for us. So the more and more, of these permanents you can get into play, the more and more copies of the permanents you can get, the more times you have to roll the dice, the more likely you are to hit a 6. And when you do again, you get 2 more chances to keep doing that. And speaking of more chances, well, we are not done just yet. How about Oath of Teferi? When enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent you control, returns to the battlefield, under its control at the beginning of the next end step. On top of that, you may activate loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control twice each turn rather than only once. So, yeah, double the fun, double the activations, double the chances to keep going. Speaking of which, there's the Chain Veil, which basically is the exact same thing as that second part, kind of in a way. Pay 4, tap. For each planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalty abilities once this turn, as though none of its loyalty abilities have been activated this turn. So have fun with that extra activation. And yeah, even Amanatu the Fate Shifter can help us out as well. Amanatu has -1, exile another target permanent you own, then return to the battlefield under your control. So you're basically just blinking Comet. It leaves, comes back. It's basically considered to be a new permanent. So yeah, activate that ability again. And of course, again, if you've got, Oath of Teferi, or, the Chain Veil in play, you get that twice. And if you've got, all those extra, dice rolls, have fun. There are definitely ways if you get set up properly. I bet there's going to be a deck out there that just wants Comet to just be the end-all, be-all win con of the deck and wants to try to go infinite with it. So, yeah, have fun with all these different opportunities. And speaking of having fun, well, when you are rolling all these dice, well, have fun with cards like Feywild Trickster, Brazen Dwarf, and Rondis. Feywild Trickster says whenever you roll 1 or more dice, create a 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature token with flying. So yeah, once you're set up properly, you can create a ton of 1/1 flyers with this to join these squirrel friends that you're bound to make too. Or, you can burninate your opponents to the ground with Brazen Dwarf. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So yeah, that can go quite quickly. Of course, probably even quicker than, taking your opponents out once you do kind of go infinite with, the dog running into people, which is, again, what I'm calling that one the 4 or the 5. Or, you can make a massive army if you really want to. Okay, well, there is technically a limit with this one. Brandis, Rage of the Ancients. Whenever it's dealt damage, you can create a 5/4 red and green dragon spirit creature token with. When this creature deals damage, sacrifice it. And whenever you roll one or more dice, you can have Brandis deal 1 damage to itself. Obviously, you are limited to doing that, well, okay, at the very most 4 times. That would take out Brandis. 3 times if you want to keep Brandis around. Still, yeah, definitely consider if you are, building this crazy deck around this, other benefits that you might get from rolling dice. And in a dice rolling deck, of course, you've got to consider Vexing Puzzle Box. It says whenever you roll 1 or more dice, put a number of charge counters on Vexing Puzzle Box equal to the result. You can also tap to add 1 mana of any color to roll a d20, and you can tap to remove 100 charge counters from Vexing Puzzle Box to search life for an artifact card, put on the battlefield, then shuffle. So yeah, I'm sure this can tutor you out something very spicy, and of course, yeah, when you're rolling all these dice, you can get to that 100 very quickly. And also, when you are hitting those 6s, you can really take advantage of that with Netherese Puzzle Ward. It has Focus Beam at the beginning of your upkeep, roll a d4, scry X for X as a result, and on top of that, whenever you roll a die's highest natural result, draw a card. Now, keep in mind, if your plan is to go infinite, this could actually deck you and you could lose. Now, of course, if you've got, cards in your deck that can actually take this out for you, you can stop yourself from losing. Or, if you've got like a Thassa's Oracle for some whatever reason in that deck, if you've got Thassa's Oracle too, you can win with that. But yeah, definitely another card to consider in a deck that is all about rolling dice. But now as this episode is coming to a close, it's time for me to give you my final thoughts on Comet Stellar Pup. Like I said before, this very well might be one of the strangest cards we have ever seen, one of the strangest legal cards in Eternal formats, again, Commander, Legacy, etc., 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 that we have ever seen, and definitely the strangest Planeswalker we have ever seen. And while you don't have to, build an entire deck around, the dedication to actually just go infinite with this one and activate its loyalty abilities as many times as you want, or essentially until you take your opponents out accidentally by having your dog Planeswalker run into them, again, because that's exactly what's happening there, right? Or sending your hasty scroll army at them or whatnot. But yeah, I have no doubt that at the very least, this is going to see some play in Super Friends builds. So yeah, have fun with your brand new Planeswalker, dog, Comet. And of course, make sure you're staying tuned to this channel for even more exciting quick takes and spoilers coming up. And with that, this show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So the comments below, let me know what your thoughts on this episode are, and as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.